Listen, we can't be making out on camera. Shane Dawson just joked about that, and we don't even say his name in this house anymore. Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Monday Coffee with the Doll. On today's episode, we have a really clingy guest who knows nothing about personal boundaries, personal space, and the invasion of. Hey Doll Fam, and welcome back to another episode of Monday Coffee with the Doll. We're just gonna have to deal with Inky today because I locked myself in my bedroom so I could come and hang out with you guys for an episode, and I told all of my kids, I said, you guys have to go entertain yourselves for a little bit because mom's gonna go do something that she doesn't do, and that's take some time to do something else that's not just all about y'all. I love my kids and my cats. They are my favorite things in the whole world. Even my older one is here today. He's 25, I think, now. Sometimes I forget how old he is because he didn't come out of my vagina, so I don't have like a mental evacuation day for him. But on his birthday, I remember. Yeah. He gets treated like all the rest of the brats in this house. Just sometimes I forget exactly what age he actually is. I mean, he lets us know he's grown. So today's episode of Monday Coffee with the Doll is going to be called Monday Coffee and No Fricks Given. I'm trying to control my language. I'm not really good at it when I'm live because I get so much anxiety. I have a hard time keeping myself together and it just kind of comes out. If you've been on many of my lives, you know just what I'm talking about. But, you know, with my videos like this, I try to keep them a little bit more controlled so an array of people, I guess, can watch them. And a lot of people tell me that sometimes they watch with their kids. So I try to keep this a family-friendly affair. Can you put your butt down? I just said I'm keeping this a family-friendly affair, okay? This is not the OnlyFans. We don't do that anymore. So I think, you know, one of the most in-depth thing that I spend time doing with all of the content and all of the sharing that I do is just really a lot of one-on-one interacting. I really do. I think probably more than most people do because I get a lot of messages from all of you, all of the people who follow me, you know, sometimes even people who just find me and reach out on a more personal level. But I get to talk with so many of you about so many different things. And that's what I spend a lot of my time doing. You know, I create content that I think when people show up, they feel, you know, just at ease. But I think that's because I work really hard to make sure that the content that I put out represents the energy that I'm always searching for, right? I'm always searching for the next good vibe to ride. And I don't even know how to surf. I was born in California. You don't know how to surf? I'm scared of the water. You were born in California, you know how you're scared of the water? Yeah, I mean, sharks, man. So one of the, probably, I guess, there's like, all of the messages I get, I can compartmentalize, like, the different boxes that I would put them in, because a lot of the times, like, the context of the message will be the same. Like, of course, there's always the ones that ask about pinup or modeling, then you have ones that ask about how to become an influencer, then you have people asking about photography, or then you have people who come to me about my body positivity, and then you have people that come to me about bullying, and then you have people that come to me about, you know, being a mom or going through a divorce. And like there's always like there's groups of people that come to me for specific things because they've connected with me through different pieces of my content. I remember back in the day when I started my Instagram, it was very just like modeling and pinup and project related, but then over time as I grew and everything that I was doing, it was growing. My Instagram has very much always had all my projects presented, but more and more so my Instagram has become something that you guys really know you can see me from. Like, I don't post photos and a lot of stuff about my kids I don't ever post it on my Facebook page. Like, that's not where it goes. My TikTok, same, my kids won't ever be on my TikTok. But on my Instagram, that's like an intimate look at who I am, and the what I represent in my home, in my family, with my kids, with my husband, with, you know, as that type. Like, here I am in all of my facets. Plus, this is my job. And I think that because I've given such an array, I get to see such a beautiful spectrum of humans. That's all of you. You want to take a minute? You want to take a minute? Give yourself a... Y'all are beautiful. Y'all are beautiful. I always love it when you show up. It's true. Because I share so many different facets about who I am, you guys respond. And I really love that Monday Coffee with the Doll has become this place where we can support good things, we can talk about who we are, we can talk about helping people, we can talk about supporting people through whatever it is, because there's all these really rad things that we can talk about. And by talking about all of this stuff, we've created a platform where we can lift ourselves up, we can lift others up, we can lift, you know, the small businesses up, we can lift up creators, we can lift up artists, we can do all kinds of things. That's what the DollFAM support is. That's what we do. You know, everybody gets to sit at the table, and everybody's treated as an equal. So I think that one of the questions that I get asked a lot is, how do I stay so positive? How do I stay so positive? And the answer is very simple, but also very it's complex, because it's one of the most hardest things that you could ever try to learn and then also apply in your life every single day. And that really is as simple as not giving any fricks. I did it. I did it. Family friendly. But don't monetize me anymore, YouTube. Come at me, bro. I need to take a sip of my coffee, and I need you to not headbutt me. Inky's a lover. An aggressive lover. Just like her mother was. R.I.P. A.W. I loved your mom so much. She also did not respect personal boundaries and just pet herself on people too. Just like you do. But it's okay. Because it's really therapeutic. Don't eat my hair. I don't have a bra on. Don't bite my nipple. There was a huge part of my life where I gave every single frick. Every single one of them. And it's something that just weighs you down. Like, completely. You can't... I think that the majority of us, the way we function, and I don't think there's a lot of people who even realize it, because I think that for a lot of humans, they're trying to grow in environments that don't cater to a broader spectrum, right? And I can even say that for myself. Like, I'm speaking of myself. I grew up in an environment as a child that bred one type of human, right? And then I went into my teenage years, and I was in a different environment that catered to, you know, just another type of human. And then I was an adult, and I was in my first, you know, relationship, and I was married, and all of this shit, and that environment and how that environment was bred another type of human. But if I reflect back on all those different environments that I've kind of phased throughout my own journey, I can see how all of them were the same, right? It was just this repetitive. So because I grew up in one situation, one environment, and then there was no broader spectrum after that, like every environment I went to thus forward catered to a very unopen, there was no reach. Like, and I can look back at my old Facebook posts, I can look back at old interactions with you guys and go, I was so NPC, right? Like, you just kind of, I was not who I am now. And it wasn't that I wasn't genuine, because I was 100% genuine to myself in that moment, right? That everything that was influencing me at the time, or whatever was going on in my life at the time, I was always true to myself. You know, I was always very much in my morals and care and empathy, and all of that was still very much like it is now. But there's no way I would have ever been able to wrap my head around being who I am right now. And the fact that I could be who I am right now. And the fact that I could be sitting here not only saying, hey, I'm going to demand my happiness and I'm gonna demand having all this weight off my shoulders that other people put there, but I'm also saying, hey, do you need somebody to help you fight for that in your own life? Like, that's how secure I feel in this walk that I've been on for over a decade with all of you guys. Yeah, I'm really, really skinny and I don't weigh very much. I'm aware, but I was heavy as all get out with all of the fricks that everybody else was putting on me. And you cannot live that way. You cannot live carrying around so much weight, mental weight being put on you by other people. That's just, you're not created to function that way, right? So it took me a really, really, really long time to grow through some awful stuff. Like, we all have these pasts that reflect parts of our story that can be really, really difficult. And I've talked about some stuff, but I've definitely never talked about a lot in depth of like my trauma or like what my deepest scars are. And someday I hope to be able to talk with you guys about certain things and use those as discussions that maybe can help influence your journey more positively. But until I figure out how to incorporate those, I don't think it's positive for me to just like share them ugly crying into the camera. You know what I mean? I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. So when I say you just can't give any fricks, I mean it. You can't. You can't constantly be worried about everybody else's things. There's so many things. And when I read messages and stuff from people, you know, for me, I've gone through a lot of these things already. So when people come to me in mid journey of something that's similar to the same journey that I walk down, I have a hard time talking about this because I don't ever want it to come across as, I know the way, follow me, I'm amazing and I made it, because that's not my thing at all. Sharing is caring and knowledge is power. And if I can share the knowledge that I pick up on my journey in all of the pain and the heartache, and I can filter all that shit out, and I can just give you guys, hey, I did all those stupid things and it was terrible and I shouldn't have done it and it totally screwed me over, but all of these things that I also did worked really good. So like, take all those out, don't do those things, but then here, I have some good shit for you to, you know, that kind of stuff I think is important if you're going to share content like mine, right? Like, that's my goal. But it's 100% out of, I think that we all have to grow through things before we can fully process and comprehend them and then move forward from them in a positive way, so we don't have to revisit them. And then, well, we don't have to revisit them ourselves, or we don't have to revisit them at all. But for people like me, I want to be able to revisit those things so I can use those to help somebody else, right? And I think that I'm learning how to kind of process those pains and the things that I've been through, and filter out what can really be something substantial for us to grab onto. And one of those things is that you have got to stop giving a frick about everybody else, everything else, and you have to start focusing on yourself. And that goes into what I say about is your happiness trending. I am really, really, really bad at focusing on myself. Out of all the people in my life, I care the least about myself. Does that sound bad? It should sound bad. It should sound bad. But that's something that's been planted in my mind and in how I function from my own environments and my own trauma. And I'm trying to work through that. And that's really all you can do, right? So as I'm working through those things, I'm starting to understand why it's important to really only hold the things that define you, that you chose. Because if you're carrying around all these fricks that everybody else said you had to carry, then you're just so heavy with all of everyone else's bullshit, like on a bed, sheets. How are you ever going to accomplish anything? And then they're just walking, the people like that, people who like to throw all that on you, are the people that are just like frolicking, Betties and cream, I'm a little lad who loves berries and cream. I don't know why I used that. Do you know what that's from? That's like a throwback commercial. I think it was like Skittles and smoothies or berries. Skittles and... Whoa, where'd that come from? People like that 100% will live footloose and fancy free because they're living for themselves. And although they're living for themselves and they choose to do it in a really toxic way, that's why boundaries are important, and that's why not feeling bad about cutting people out of your life if necessary, you shouldn't feel bad about. It doesn't mean that it's not hard and it doesn't suck and you like grieve it at times. You know, that's okay. I think that there's also a big misconception that when we cut that negativity out of our lives, we're just supposed to be like, well, it doesn't matter. It's gone. It was negative. No, it fucking sucks. Sorry. It hurts. And it can take you a really long time to get through to where you can function, you know, healthy and happy. So all of that kind of stuff is valid. But if you are constantly carrying around everybody else's shit that they're putting on you because they don't want to carry it, but they like watching everybody else act like a pack mule for their toxic behavior, because that's ultimately where they get their validation from, is like manipulation and control and speaking into and for everyone else's lives. And you can't do that. But I also think that it's really important to note that if you are functioning in a mindset of where other people kind of control you, even though it's not a positive thing for you, sometimes when you abruptly try to leave that, it can also have a negative effect on you. And I'm going to tell you why. No, it's not going to take me that long. I'm going to keep control of my thoughts, and I'm going to make sure this is like a 10 to 15 minute episode. Everybody knows that's not true. So you should just continue with your episode before you forget what you're saying. If you're still here, thank you. All right, so I'm going to end the show before we get into our sponsors and all of our cool shit. So when I first left that, like when I finally broke out of that controlling environment, right? When I finally said, I don't want to carry all of y'all's fricks anymore. I don't want to carry it. I hate big purses. I'm really tiny. My pockets are barely real as it is. There's definitely not any more room in them to carry for you. I love fanny packs, but I don't want to carry your snacks in my fanny pack. I want to carry my, you know what I mean? And I was finally just like, I can't take it anymore. And I finally broke through mentally where I realized, it was like the first time in my life, I was like, I can demand that you leave me alone. Let me just live for myself for once. Let me make a choice. Let me make a bad choice, a good choice. I had been so controlled for so long, and I missed so many really big pivotal growth phases for a human in my early adult years. It was almost kind of like going on Rumspringa for me. You know, I grew up in such a very controlled environment in my early adult, once I moved to Oklahoma, and then I got myself into my first relationship. You know, those together really married into a toxic marriage for me. Those two things together just started ultimately doing nothing but abusing me together, and it took me a really long time to figure that out. That I sought out a relationship that very much mirrored my home life, and I didn't have anybody that I was listening to at the time. My grandma straight up told me, Emily, this is not a good idea, and she was right. I should have listened. If I would have listened to my grandma, my life would have been different. My life would have been different, but I wouldn't have my kids. And I'd go through hell just to get them and then bounce again. Like, that's just facts. I ain't even gonna lie about it. I would go through hell every single day just to get those two little pieces of my soul outside of my body, just that were going to be huge supporters down my journey, my path. Like, they're here for me. So that might sound selfish, but the situation brought this in. And so now I have it. And if I had to go back, I definitely wouldn't go forward any different. But you can't, because I would have missed huge things later that I've just recently gone through that have made me who I am right now. So I have to walk through all that fire no matter what. It was the choice that I made, and it's the choice that has shaped who I am. And if this is my destiny, right? If this is who I'm supposed to be on this journey this time around the sun, then I'm gonna go all out. And the truth is that when you feel like you're not being heard ever and that your voice is never heard, sometimes you feel like you need to scream even louder. And I went through this weird phase. I call it my Miley Cyrus phase. Y'all were there for it. There's all kinds of posts and stuff. And even some of my fans were like, whoa, this is a different vibe for you. And some of them liked it. Some of them didn't like it. Some stayed, some left, some cheered for me, some worried for me. But ultimately, I had to go through that phase of crassness, right? That's when I was just kind of being really crass and probably more vulgar than I should have been, but I felt like no one was listening. I felt like I was so weighted down by everybody else's fricks that when they exploded off of me, it just really put me into a tailspin. And I don't regret it. I think that I needed to go through a phase of vulgar crassness because I needed to get people's attention that weren't listening to me, that didn't think I deserved to have a voice in such matters. They finally said, oh shit, it is the little ones that you should never piss off. I don't regret that though. I don't regret that though, because I think that we have to grow through some of the more extreme things to come out on the other side and really be able to say, oh, okay, I get it. I get it. That wasn't a good look for me. Wasn't a good look for me, but it I wouldn't say that's not a good look for me. It just didn't fit well. You know, sometimes you put something on and you're like, this looks good, but it just doesn't fit me. So you take it off. That was me with that stage of my life. But that stage of my life reminded me that cover your children's ears if they're listening, or anybody who doesn't like profanity. If you're here, you probably love profanity. I finally said, I don't give a fuck. 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 I don't give a fuck about you. And I just was done. I was done with it all. I was done with it all. And I finally realized that I could. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. And yes, you can. Yes, you can. You have to stop allowing everybody else to weigh you down with all of their shit. Because you can't move forward at the pace you're supposed to on your own story, down your own road to making sure your happiness is trending and you're figuring out what your purpose is. And sometimes humans have to grow through really ugly phases so they themselves can reach the point that they finally say, oh, I'm beautiful and this is where I'm supposed to be. Why was I wasting all this time? Oh, I was wasting all this time because I was learning through real experiences, real heartache and pain. And I heard an actress say, and I cannot remember, was it Lily Reinhart? I can't remember who it was. You guys will probably be able to find it. But she says that when she's going, you know, we're in the bigger scope of things. You know, no matter what you believe in, the fact that we're here and we're capable we have, she said, if somebody asked you if you wanted to come to Earth and feel absolutely everything, every emotion, every extreme, heartache and pain and love and joy, and you want to feel it all, but you only get to experience it for a very, very short amount of time through every experience that you could possibly imagine, and you have all of those possibilities. You want to go down there and try it? And she's like, yeah, I would say yes. And so when I think about how broad of a spectrum of an idea that is, and the fact that I get to be here for this small amount of time and feel all of this and go through all of these experiences, that's so beautiful. So when you're stuck in those moments, think about that. And she said that, and I was like, dang, girl, thank you. Like, I needed that reality check, because that is real. That's real weight in this world. During your time here, something like that, that's real. Somebody talking shit about you or telling you you can't, or saying this, that, or the other about your choices, or this, that, or other about who you want to be, or who you know, or who you love, or what you want, or where you want to go, where you don't want to go. You gotta stop letting everybody else fill up your backpack. How are you ever going to make it anywhere? You're never gonna make it to the next snack shack because your backpack is gonna slow you down. You gotta empty it out. You got to. You got to. This is your sign. You got to. So that's today's message. Really long. I can't help it. I like to talk. I like to talk to you guys. I like to have conversation with my family on the Mondays with my a millionth cup of hot Joe. Speaking of which, that must mean it's time for a word from our coffee sponsors. Are you tired of trying to wake up in the morning and you just can't because you were up all night howling at the moon? Well, have no fear, because Sleeping Dog Coffee is here. Sleeping Dog Coffee, the coffee that gets you up howling in the morning when you were up late howling at night. Ding! I gotta figure out the ding, Jessica. I'll figure out the ding. I'll figure it out. Until then, ding! I'm just gonna record that and then play it over. Ding! Yeah, but Sleeping Dog Coffee beans. They are the best roasted beans. I love them. I really, really, really love the dark roast, and I'm in the middle of creating a special Monday Coffee with the Doll, Sleeping Dog Coffee Beans, collaboration of bean that y'all can boil, and when you drink it, you can think about me. Yeah, think about it. But get some. There's a coupon code below for your first offer. Try the beans. Let me know how you feel about them. I think they're delicious. So, yeah, Sleeping Dog Coffee. There's a link below. Use it. Embrace it. Love it. Start howling at the moon. You probably don't send me. I don't need to know that you're howling at the moon. I don't. Have fun. Stay safe out there, kids. Ding. No, that's bad too. So, also, I have something really exciting to tell you guys. So, I'm also currently in the works of making another absolutely magical thing for you guys. I'm not going to tell you what it is just yet, but it does involve coffee. It involves the most magical creator of CBD bath goodies across America and the globe, in my opinion, but I haven't been very many places. But NC Fizzy Treats and I are collaborating on something really, really badass for you guys. You guys are really gonna love it. But until then, head over to her website. She's got some really, really cool stuff on there. If you guys really want to Monday Coffee with the Doll and chill, turn on Monday Coffee with the Doll on low. Don't turn my voice up too high because it's super annoying. And then get in the bath with an NC Fizzy Treat CBD bath bomb. These things are absolutely amazing. I'm going to be posting a TikTok here. I have to edit it and get it up for you guys. You guys know I'm bad at that. But if you guys do not know how to relax and chill, I have a TikTok coming for you to show you how. You're not going to want to miss it. But we are all creating some really amazing stuff for the Doll Fam. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be coming soon. I'm working really hard. But until then, make sure that you guys are checking out my link tree. Go shake my tree. Go shake my tree. Go shake it. There's all kinds of really cool stuff on there that you guys can find to connect with me. There's different subscription pages. There's ways to reach out. There's emails. All of my links are on there for my really cool merch. And there is also my November print is still for sale on there if you guys want to grab one of those before they are gone. Thank you to everybody who's purchased my prints. I started selling prints back in October for the first time in a really long time, and you guys have been absolutely amazing purchasing pieces of my art. Thank you for validating my passion that way. I really appreciate it. That's a huge deal. Also, thank you to all of my DollFAM members that have been sending me stars on all my video platforms. Thank you for joining my lives lately. I've been in a really bad spot mentally. Just like I said, I am my least important person in my life, and I'm trying to get control of that. And I think that the best way to get control of our most toxic traits is to openly call them out. So that's something that I am working on. And one of the things that my toxic traits do is keep me from interacting with the people that I love, because I always feel like I'm gonna let them down immensely. And that's you guys. You guys are my family. So I really appreciate all of the support and the cheering right now, from people that are following me, Sebastian and Gary and Dan, and David, and, Clinton, everybody that's just always there, and Chris, and just all you guys, Ernie, all you guys that are there, Jeff, all you guys, every single one of you, Amanda, just everybody who's there, Courtney, and just all my DollFAM members that are here every day with me all the time. Thank you for being a part of my family. Thank you for hanging out. So make sure that you guys check out all the cool stuff that I have. Get in contact with me. You guys want to be a part of the show, you guys can find that below. You guys want some cool DollFAM merch to rock the swag, I have some cool stuff that I've put up there for you guys. Or if you just want to message me and say hi and you need a little extra love, there's a way to contact me below too. So, but until then, remember, it's the most important thing. It's the most important thing. Remember, you got to make peace within yourself so you can walk in love with others. These are the days that fill your week. Make them as amazing as you are. Until next time, I love your faces. Bye.
Words are just words until action actually starts. And actions speak louder than words, but at the same time, words speak louder than actions because sometimes it's the right thing to do. Very cool. Okay,